Hey folks, Quill18 here and welcome to Let's Play Fate of the World. Now, many of you have seen me play Fate of the World before, often on the charity live streams that we do once or twice a year. And it is an unbelievably fantastic game, also very fun to play. Sort of just loosey-goosey on a live stream and have some fun. But I think I may have done one actual Let's Play video for it like a long time ago, and I've been in the mood to play it again, and as part of a not live stream, so that maybe the pacing and things could be a little bit differently. This is a game about trying to counter global warming, is what it is. And it is very, 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 very challenging to play, but unbelievably satisfying when you pull it off. I've got all the DLC, everything. This game's pretty cheap these days at this point because it's fairly dated. I think it came out many years ago. Let's see if I'm on the Steam store page on my other screen here. The release on Steam, 2011. So this is an 8-year-old game at this point, but it still really, really holds up. Yeah, there are a couple of little mini expansions, and there's also an unofficial fan patch. You can see that I'm running it down here, version 0.68, I believe, is the latest version of the unofficial fan patch. I think it's been out for a really long time. It tweaks a few of the balance things. One of the big things, and the main reason I play it, though, is because it adds a lot more sort of information and detail to the various cards that you can play in this game. And yes, indeed, you do play this game kind of with cards. So, if you are going to play this game, I do recommend a fair bit that you probably do play it with the unofficial patch. You can just Google it. You can find a link to it in the Steam discussion forums for this game as well. Anyway, with that, let's go ahead and play. Now, there are a bunch of different scenarios you can play. I'm going to play the big one, which is 3 degrees, which I've beaten before, apparently. But I think it may have been literally the only time, and I don't think I've been able to duplicate it since then. So this game, this game starts in, I believe we start in 2020. So at the time that this game was developed, it was, sort of 10 years ahead of time. Now it's right around the corner, but yeah, okay. And in this scenario, we have to survive until the year 2200. So we have 180 years, and we have to make sure that the global temperature is below 3 degrees in 2200. Interestingly enough, we don't instantly lose if it goes above 3 degrees. This is 3 degrees above the average, okay? I think the pre-industrial average. So we can go above 3 degrees. You just have to make sure it's not above 3 degrees in 2200. That being said, once we hit that 3 degrees, hell, once we hit like 2 degrees of warming, there tends to be pretty catastrophic cascade of terrible events that starts happening. So we really do want to avoid getting there in general. We can also lose, so to win, we just have to make it 2200 with the temperature, the mean global temperature, less than 3 degrees above pre-industrial averages. We can lose if the global human development index falls below 0.5, which I don't think I've ever had happen. We can lose if we're banned from 7 or more region. Definitely have seen that happen a lot. Yeah, lose control of GEO HQ region is pretty bad too, and if the warming is too high. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Note there is an easy mode. If you do that, you don't get achievements, and I think your final score, they just cut it by like 10 or something like that. This is one of my favorite things. So we're going to be Your Excellency Quill 18. That's who we are over here. So we're going to get a little bit of backstory, which I will let play out. When environmental collapse cannot be ignored. Oh, maybe I read that too fast. How should civilization respond? Well, if it's anything like the real world that we live in, they're really not going to do much at all, actually. So obviously, this takes, this interprets the science on global warming in a certain way. Oh, hold on. 2010, through a decade of economic uncertainty and growing civil unrest, the world faces the most erratic weather ever recorded. 2018, Cyclone Sanvu. Experts are calling Sanvu the world's first hypercane. Smashing into an already storm-beaten coastline, officials fear that the devastation here will be felt for years to come. By 2100, dangerous temperatures are a deadly possibility. Actually, I think this is a different newsreader from before. Shrinking ice caps may result in the extinction of the polar bear in mere decades. Evacuation. The president of the Maldives, admits inevitable migration with the sea rising around the island. The president pleads to the leaders of the world to act against further climate change. 2020 Climate Summit. The world responds. Protection of our environment is too important to our future to remain governed by the short-sighted carelessness of individual nations. The Global Environment Organization will act where action is needed, with the will and support of all nations, to ensure a better future. A mix of celebration, skepticism, and fear as the controversial GEO is established. All eyes are now on President Quilliteen to see precisely what kind of measures the GEO will take. So yeah, we're like a super turbo UN, and we have a lot of authority over, like, you know, the various nations and regions of the world. Okay, so it's actually, we start in 2025. Each turn in this game is 5 years. And yeah, so we have however many turns until 2200 to finish this up. We got some news alerts over here. We're at 1 degree of warming currently over pre-industrial levels. Global population 7.4 million. So yeah, so again, I was going to say something like this, you know, there are many different models and predictions about things that may happen with various, you know, climate change and whatever. And obviously this you know, takes certain of those models and projects that as the idea. Whether this is, you know, what's going to happen or not, I'll leave that to the the enlightened YouTube commentators to work out among themselves. But we are going to go ahead and accept it for this game over here. So the first thing we're going to do is we have these different regions. So it's North America, Latin America, ERP, North Africa, Southern Africa, Middle East, Russia, China and East Asia, India, South Asia, Oceania, and Japan. These are the regions we're going to be working with for the purpose of just working out this game. And I'm probably going to go and recruit an agent everywhere first. So it costs 50, these, I don't know, megabucks, billions of bucks, I don't know, whatever. It costs $50 to get an agent everywhere, and we need agents to be able to do anything. Now, whether or not recruiting an agent in every single spot on the first turn is the smartest way to start, I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. Again, this is, oh, you can see the scene here. This is a very challenging game, and you can't always play the same way because you'd have to respond to the various events that happen. But yeah, so North America over here, currently at 5 hearts. This is our support over here. Support drops too low, we will get kicked out of this region, which is quite poor because we will no longer get the taxes from those regions. We'll no longer be able to make decisions in this region, and in addition to that, if we get kicked out of 7 regions, we will lose. If we start getting kicked out of too many regions, we're just going to lose anyway because it's going to snowball in a bad way. The money we make every turn, we cannot go and we can't save between turns. Use it or lose it. So we can see where our various incomes are coming from. I guess we can't sort this, but quite a bit from China, quite a bit from Europe, and North America right now. Those are the three-digit places. But we can also boost our economy a fair bit. So these are the cards we're going to be able to play. For every agent, we can have 1 card going per turn. Some of these cards take multiple turns to work through. For example, the Protect Land, Soil, and Forest initiative over here is $50 for every turn. Again, turn is 5 years, and it will take many, many, many turns to go through this series of improvements over here. Yeah, if you don't have some of this text over here in colors, this is one of the things that the unofficial patch really does. Now, there are multiple categories of cards. There's, I don't know what, they don't, oh, projects over here. So this one here, projects, and there's more than 1 page of that. Then we've got, the green stuff is environmentally type projects, yeah, environment. We've got science, we've got industry, we've got welfare and education category, and then we have a sort of security category over here. Now, in the base game, to be able to play cards in here, you need to build the offices. In the patch, for whatever reason, I mean, it makes the game easier. This is one thing where, like, I don't know, do I want that in there? But, I mean, it's part of the unofficial patch, so it's there. First of all, they remove the cost of the offices, and also on the second turn, they have an office, they have all the offices built everywhere for you, so that you can sort of start playing the game. I don't know. I don't know what necessarily the reasoning is, but I guess it's fine. I might still use one of these cards to do it. Anything with a plus heart on it, this is a popular initiative that will likely raise support in the region. So that is fairly tempting to do. But the thing is, in a region with fairly high GDI, so we have a bunch of different stats, or sorry, HDI, my bad, Human Development Index. If you have high Human Development Index, you can run something called a Tobin tax in a region. And basically it's the idea that for every commercial transaction that happens, a, fraction of, of a cent or whatever gets pulled away from that and sent to us, to the GDI. So while most cards cost money, the Tobin tax is negative 100. It will give us more money here. Raises money, and it does shrink the commercial district performance over here. It does point out, helps fix and avoid financial collapse. So there's a thing that can happen in the game where if the, and I don't remember the triggering point, but if commerce is way too high compared to industry and agriculture, you can have an economic collapse because your whole economy in a place is based on, well, not real product, right? It's based on people, making money on money on money. And it's like, well, if you're not making anything, then eventually that can come to a halt. So by slowing down the commercial district, that can help. Now, whether or not, that'll come up, I don't know. Still, we're going to go ahead and Tobin tax over here. And instead of having 250 money left, we're going to have 350 money left right now. So we're going to do that. We can change our mind. You can keep fiddling with these cards as much as you want until you end turn. But I'll drop a Tobin tax in North America and in Europe, at least to start off with. We might do Oceania. They have high HDI. We'll do that. Now, people will start to like us less and less by running this, so we'll have to compensate by making sure they get some good stuff going on to help balance things out. So with that in mind, what I'll probably do is buy a second card in Europe right away. And one of the things we can do is put our GEO headquarters somewhere. This will unlock a bunch of extra policies, and we'll tend to make the place where we build it happy temporarily. I often put it in Europe or North America because they're fairly stable places, and it's usually fairly easy to not get kicked out over there, as long as you keep an eye out at yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bid for GEO headquarters in Europe right away so we can get that going. Is it too early? Maybe, but we'll see. So Middle East is very unstable. We'll be working with it later with the political office. For now, maybe I didn't need to go and unlock the card right away. There's something to be said about that. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill a slot with one of these offices. With hopefully, maybe it gives us a heart if we do it this way instead of the other way. So I'm going to do the same thing in basically all these regions over here. Try to get a little bit more heartness, but we'll really go to work next turn. And actually, with that in mind, we probably don't need this Tobin tax right now, because there's not really anything for us to do. So, you know what? I'm actually going to cancel the Tobin taxes. And in Europe as well. We have a little bit of extra money left over. We are going to spend the money on recruiting new agents. Even if we don't do anything with them right now, we're going to do that. I'm going to get them in a few places where the science is going to be useful. So, and again, I'll just fill the card with whatever here. So this first turn, mostly nothing's going to happen. Next turn is when we're going to start really working on things. So, rise of Arctic methane reported. Because of the warming is happening, melting ice is releasing more methane, which is a pretty dangerous greenhouse gas. I think compared to CO2, I think methane is a lot more severe but shorter lived. I don't know. Some science nerds in the chat or the comments will probably clarify that. So the world population is growing, and it's estimated 2 million people have died as a result of climate change. This could be food shortages, just to be dying in storms, all kinds of things. But 5 more years have passed. We also get this over here. So the 0 degrees here, this is the pre-industrial warming. This is what the temperature was effectively as an average in 1750. Here's where we are now. Right over here, and this is the growth over the last turn. It's predicted in 2100 will be here, and in 2200 will be here. Remember, we lose at 3 degrees effectively, which is not great. This is also the emissions, which are currently growing over here, which is not ideal. Europe is getting some science. Advanced drilling breakthrough announced the groundbreaking, literally, discovery of advanced drilling techniques, facilitating greater exploitation of fossil fuels and increasing geothermal power potential. And the GEO headquarters have been founded in Europe. Excellent. So this will be a more significant turn over here. Annual emission summary over here. This is, the line is how many emissions they actually got. The vertical line is what was expected. And then you've got a color code for like, so China, it was expected here, but it's red because they produced more than expected. Same thing with South Asia. We got some greens here, but just barely. North America did a little bit better than hoped. But yeah, China is a big emitter of emissions. They've got a lot of coal power there, which we'll be looking at over here. So we can look at the support. Europe went up a lot because they're happy about the GEO. And no one dropped because we weren't actually running Tobin taxes this first turn, which is very good. But we're going to get more news over here. Rise of Arctic methane, global population. But we can also get news in a case-by-case basis. Let's take a look at Europe. It's got gold over here now because it is GEO headquarters. And we can take a look at their local news. So they got the drilling breakthroughs. Agricultural expansion causes major deforestation. So, yes, they are cutting down forests to build more farms. They're very happy about the GEO. They've got a lot of pollution, increasing 10% sickness this turn, triggered by fuel use toxicity density between da-da-da-da-da. All right. Peace is good here. Strong tax advances. Things are sounding pretty good. Drilling advances spur fossil fuel production. That's lovely. That's what we want, is more fossil fuel. What we're going to take a look at is this screen over here, which is really useful. I guess we can even do it globally, can't we? I don't usually do that, but we can look at globally how everything is going on. Temperature over here. What are the temperatures coming from? Overall oil production, for example, or various productions of things, how much coal we're mining worldwide, how much oil we're doing worldwide. I don't tend to spend a lot of time in here because mostly it's, let's look at a nation and figure out what the heck's going on over there. So then we checked the news to see if there was anything immediate going on that we should know about. There wasn't much except forestry change. Yeah. See, it's dropping quite quickly. So we're losing the forest in Europe, which, I mean, the forest is useful for recapturing CO2, for example, right? So that's not good. Fuel use toxicity index is pretty bad as well. And I mean, you can link to these. We can go and check, from here we can go power generation. We can also do that from the main screen. That's the same as hitting this button over here for electricity. We can see that Europe has got a mix of a variety of different things. 22% coal, not too much oil, which is nice. The gas isn't bad. When you're comparing fossil fuels, the least bad one is probably natural gas. But it's still something we're going to want to move away from ultimately. That being said, we don't want to just say right away, hey, stop using coal, boom, because what you can do is you can end up with power shortages. So you want to be able to transition in a way that doesn't ruin your economy, your industry, your farming. Like, everything needs quite a lot of power over here. But you can see emission-wise, actually, I was talking about the gas isn't too bad. We're getting almost as much emission from the gas as the coal, although we are using more gas over here. Now, various technologies can help with these things as well. All right, let's consider the various cards we might use. So now we've got the first office has been built everywhere, which is more fun. Again, it does make the game fairly easy. Well, not fairly easy. It makes it slightly easier that you don't have to build the offices, but it does make it a heck of a lot more fun. So, we could encourage them to expand production of various things or reduce production of various stuff as well. Because this is a GEO, we can do global bans. If we were in another region, if we're in North America, for example, and maybe we should start there, we can do things like declining various types of power and whatever, but we only get regional bans of things. Europe can issue a global ban on various stuff, and that's something we're definitely going to consider. All right, what's the news in North America if we start here? Austerity protests become finally outing. -1 stability triggered by concerned or displeased contentment. Yeah, so they are currently concerned. We have a consumerist outlook. So outlook is basically just sort of how wasteful and greedy and things like that people are, and how aware they are of environmentalism. So that you can have a materialist, consumerists, balanced, green. I don't remember all the names for it. But we can impact people on this. So Yeah, they're concerned right now. If we can make them feel a little safer, there won't be the same heart losses going on. Their tech is booming as well. All right, so nothing that super stands out over there. The other thing I tend to look at real early is the water stress level. 9% is not terrible. Some places will be a lot worse, but we're going to make a little bit of work over here. One of the things we do have going on here in North America is really good science. So North America does have advanced drillings, just like Europe, and they're currently the tech leader in biotech and infotech. They are now they might be tied with someone else. Someone else might also be the tech leader, the same amount, but no one is going to get the second gen biofuels or the smart grids faster than North America. That also means they're probably a good candidate for continuing to research in this level. The research speed is mostly based on the HDI, the Human Development Index. So I want to make sure that North America keeps working on biotech and infotech. So that's what I'm going to use these first two slots for, biotech and infotech over here. And I actually want to have each one of these categories, I want to have a nation focus on it. If we go over to Japan, this is another good tech leader, as might not be too surprising. We're not going to do infotech because we've already got someone doing that, but they're currently a tech leader in energy and robotics. Robotics makes a lot of sense, I suppose. So we're going to have energy and robotics over here. Europe's quite good as well. Okay, they're not a tech leader in anything. We still need someone in materials. Who's the tech leader in materials? Oh, it's also Japan. Biotech, although that was North America. I might have someone else. So 35 years over there, 55 years, 45. Ah, no, sorry, America's got this. Tell you what, let's drop infotech. We'll do materials in North America here. And then Japan. Let's have you do robotics and infotech, because that makes a lot of sense. So now we don't have anyone doing energy, right? I really do want to spread out the load, because we're going to need extra cards in Japan to do other things. Although they are way ahead. See, Oceania is often pretty good. Well, they got the biotech. Do I want to just steal the biotech here? Oh, yeah, okay, hold on. All right, I've got it. Oceania is going to do biotech. North America is going to drop biotech, and it will do infotech. And Japan will drop infotech and then do energy. There we go. All right, all 5 research categories are being worked. They're all being worked by a country who is already in the lead in that area, and there's no overlap, which is lovely. Okay, so North America, it's got the little green pip over there because we filled both cards. We may want to do a little bit more for them. I'm going to do another card here, especially since we made Tobin tax them, so we want them to be really happy. I'm going to put in a water management program. So this will drop water use, increase water production per turn. The sooner you can do water management, the better, because it's per turn boost to this, and it's a percentage boost, so it really does go and multiply itself. It also is a popular thing, so it should give us an extra heart in North America, which will be good if we decide to Tobin tax. I'll probably end up doing a water management program everywhere. And there's not a ton of water stress here, but again, if you do it a little early, it's kind of nice. Protecting the land, forest, and soil will be good. We could start really early on an international space program. It's stupid expensive, but it can lead to some interesting things. Business and household carbon regulations does take 30 years to go. But eventually it drops commercial household energy use as well as commercial emissions, and our industry uses less material. We do have a penalty to industry and commerce performance. I don't know if this is only while it's running, but it's got a big payoff. It's also popular. So I kind of feel like getting those in early is going to be nice. All right, let's talk about Russia. Russia's currently slightly unstable. Generally speaking, Russia's going to be okay. Although, see, they're outraged over here. They're really not happy. Anti-geo riots, expanded Hadley cells, decreased rainfall. They are ill. Sickness is between 20 and 40% right now. They do have decent tech. they're turning to gas. They actually have big natural gas reserves. So let's go ahead and deal with a few of these things. Agricultural resources undersupplied. Oh, they're slightly short on materials as well, which is hurting their economy. So I like to give a fair amount of love to Russia here early on, because it really does go and solidify their situation, and they become quite potent. Again, early on, I kind of don't mind natural gas extraction. If we go over here, actually, there we go. So this is how much natural gas they've got. Now, some of these, the deep gas, tight gas, and clathrates can be a little bit dangerous and difficult to mine for various reasons. Conventional gas, though, doesn't have too much of a risk, but you can see our extraction is nowhere near where we can maximally expose it. So extracting a little bit more natural gas, while we're going to be hitting peak oil, which is going to decrease how much oil is being produced, and also just helping to move people away from oil and coal until we get more high-tech renewables and or nuclear. A couple of different ways we can go. I'm quite a fan of over here. Well, first I'm actually going to go and get a technology. So Russia does not have the advanced drilling technology, and they would take 35 years to develop it. But we can go and just buy it from another nation. So it's going to cost us a card and $50, but it will let us do this. It will let Russia access deep gas deposits, which may or may not be, what we want. I think it's fine, though. But you can see it increases oil production and discovers more oil, which may or may not be what we want, but the gas, again, can help. It also does move you towards geothermal power expansion for later, which is going to be really, really good. I'm going to do that. I'm also going to go ahead and encourage them to expand their natural gas production. Because they're not green or anything like that, they actually they get pluses to expanding production. We're going to do that for now, just to make sure their power situation is improved a fair bit. Let's move to the Middle East real quick. Middle East may not be a surprise. It's currently volatile. The thing is, I actually have a fairly easy time, I feel, stabilizing the Middle East. Right now, we're going to provide security assistance there. We're also going to do the same thing in Northern Africa and Southern Africa. They're all unstable. We're going to provide security assistance just to help ease that up. India is currently even. We probably want them a little bit more stable. And India is definitely going to be a big place for us to work, because India, of course, has a huge population, therefore is going to be a major source of emissions and whatnot. And they're also having a hard time right now. They've got there's a lot of issues going on. You can see their water stress is at 37%, which is going to be impacting their agricultural situation and all kinds of things. Local food is something you can check here. This is a good number. The higher this number, the more food people have access to. And I think there's like a soft famine and a hard famine. I think it's something at like 150 and 300. So I think 300 is sort of soft famine, and 150 is like super hard famine or something like that. So obviously the food situation in India is not ideal, and that's something we're going to want to work on. Let me fill in the rest of the cards that we've got now. China is totally chill. They've got good security. Nothing bad's going to happen there, except of course they massively burn tech. They're also deforesting really fast. Urban sprawl brings smog to victims. Let's take a look at their stats over here. So they do have some water stress, but the biggest thing is that they mine the hell out of coal, and they use a lot of coal right over here. They don't have much natural gas that they can go to unless they go to tight gas or clathrates. Clathrates can be very dangerous. They don't really have oil over here. Yeah, there's just tons and tons and tons of coal production over here, which is pretty terrifying. Now, they do have access potentially to a lot of renewables. So they can have massive amounts of solar, not so much hydro, which I'm not sure is accurate, because I think they do have a lot of big rivers and some dams. But yeah, massive solar, large wind. Right now the geothermal potential is small. It's possible that with the advanced drilling that goes up, I'm not sure. And then there's the fusion thing. Generally speaking, I think you often are going to go more nuclear or more renewables, not really mix the two. It'd be nice to go renewables, of course. That's sort of the ideal goal, if at all possible. Moving to coal-free industry would be really nice, but again, we need alternate things set up. One of the things I do like to run early in a lot of places is protect land, soil, and forests. I may not even finish it. Every turn, there'll be a little bit of progress towards something. Ultimately, you want to finish in the long run, but early on, you don't necessarily even need to finish. The other thing we could do, see, China does start off balanced, which is kind of nice. So they don't actually get bothered by things that are more green. doesn't raise their popularity, but doesn't hurt the popularity either. We could start moving them to a vegetarian revolution really, really early, and discourage meat production could also be really useful. Although what I think I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to water management program for them. South Asia is currently even. No water stress. Protest, deforestation. I'll start you up on this, and we'll come back. Latin America, currently stable. Advances slowly. Peace reigns. They're currently pleased, which is really good. Now, of course, Latin America has massive amounts of rainforest, and we would very much appreciate it if that did not get deforested. Right now, yeah, minus 20,000 square kilometers per year is pretty brutal. Fuel use toxicity is pretty bad. Yeah, it would be nice to get this going. Oh, can't afford this card. So what I'm going to do... Let me cancel this for a sec. I'm going to run a Tobin tax in North America, which is going to give us more money. And then I'm going to give you your water management back. Europe, I'm going to buy another card. I'm also going to Tobin tax you. Let's hold it there. We'll get this going on. So everything is green. Every single one of our card slots is filled. I have a little bit of money left, so I'd like to buy another card slot somewhere. And then the question is, what is the priority? Some people will do things like... You can't help everything all the time. So some people more or less ignore Africa. Some people more or less ignore India. I don't like to do that. I mean, you know, yeah, there's limits to how much you can sort of spend and develop, but yeah. The Middle East has a lot of value for things too. Actually, I think I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go and try to... assist with educational enrollment here in the Middle East. Because if one of the things we can do here, Middle East can really be a powerhouse, I have found. If you can raise their Human Development Index here, via like a lot of education boosts and things like that, I feel like they stay stable very easily. Like, it's weirdly easy to fix the Middle East in this game, is how I feel, I guess it comes down to. So we've got that. I know I didn't check all the news everywhere. Residential crowding, peaceful protests and things like that, they're displeased, but we're going to try to make them just overall a little happier. So, let's go to the next turn. We spent all our money. Emissions are still rising, temperature's going up. Last of the summer ice in the Arctic circles. 5 million people died. Smart grids in Japan. Okay, smart grids are amazing. You want them everywhere. Emissions are dropping. Now, this is not necessarily... always a good thing, because it can drop as a result of the economy not doing well in some of these places. Alright, we lost a few hearts in places. That's not, you know, to be unexpected, because people are getting some various disasters along the way. So China, why did your emissions drop? Okay, you got your drilling. You ratify your World Forest Treaty. Excellent. Tech advances slowly, but it's not like it's at a standstill. Grasslands management. So there we go. I think this is a side effect of our forest stuff. There you go. 20% reduced emissions and a boost to GDP because of our better husbandry of grasslands. So there's these really sweet little things. At some point, some of the forest management will hurt the agricultural district for a while because it's about reclaiming the land and replanting forests and losing agriculture. So if you sort of know the order of these events, you might want to like put a, you know, just stop the protect land and soils for a little while until you can get over that hump. But there you go. So yeah, there's a lot of pollution. Stability is okay. Numerous storms. So that sucks. So they got a storm that hit them. It killed a bunch of people and upset them as well for some reason. So one of the things we can do over here is we can have defense, storm, flood, and coast defense. Clearly, China might need some of these things, so we're going to go and pop this. It's also popular. I mean, they like the protection, plus it'll prevent some of those events to happen. They do get worse and worse over time, so you do have to spend more and more money for some of these things. Wildlife conservation might be kind of nice, since China's not bothered by it, because they're balanced. You know, the sooner we can do that, the sooner we can save the panda. There's organic farming over here. It does hurt the agriculture GDP for a while. But it reduces some of the stuff, some of the material needed. Does need more water per turn. So if you're experiencing water stress, and China is, it's not necessarily ideal. Since they are experiencing some water stress, I will go and get the next level of water infrastructure. So again, the sooner we can do these, because it's per turn growth forever, which is really, really going to be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and invest there. That's going to be okay. India is still unstable, so we're going to do this. The thing is, providing the security assistance is only going to prevent this from deteriorating in a terrible way. Geo officials attacked, residential crowding, and they've got water stress. It's not, this is just a, it's a band-aid. It's not actually going to fix the problem, but at least we can stop them from getting too bad. Same thing in Africa, Northern Africa. Southern Africa is a bit more stable, generally speaking. They're literally stable right now, which is great. You've got no water stress whatsoever. What's your news? Austerity, healthcare crisis fears. So what we could do is we could boost the medical welfare program, which is going to, it's not going to solve the source of sickness, right? So, which could be all kinds of different toxicity and things like that in the air. Sickness at 28%. Toxicity index of 1 isn't bad and dropping. I think that's quite low. Well, let's go ahead and do this. I may want to invest a second card, but let me hold off for a second. Let's go to Europe. Now, anywhere that's getting Tobin tax, they need active love. Because there's a lot of things, yeah, see, ongoing objection, Tobin tax, oof, retrofit / waste, energy waste. So that's the business, household, and carbon regulations. So it's, 10% reduced commercial and residential energy, and it makes people happy. Lovely. Oh yeah, we have to look at the smart grids too, actually. So let's do that right away, because actually I kind of want to look at that everywhere. So smart grids, all sectors have 5% reduced energy use. And then residential has another 5%. Oh, all sectors is your agriculture, industry, and commercial. So all those, the residential as well, and all sectors get 5% extra GDP. It's huge. Reduced energy is amazing, but the GDP boost is insane. So what we want to do is check. See, Europe is going to get smart grids in 2.5 years. That's one turn. So there's no reason to spend on smart grids here. North America's already got it. Smart grids in Russia, 40 years. So we're going to go and acquire that. China, 15 years. We definitely want to boost that. Do I want to buy another slot here? Or cancel something? I will buy another slot. Hopefully we have enough for everything. Japan should be fine. Yeah, they've got it already. Oceania, you're going to get in 5 years, which is one turn. 40 years over here. Now, South Asia is not a particularly wealthy source of things. So, the GDP... All right, hold on. The amount of money we get here is a portion of their GDP. So, focusing on places that already give us more is the smartest way to start. So, Latin America, for example, is giving us 3 digits. So we're going to do that. Eventually, I want smart grids everywhere because it will just make the nation a lot happier. But let's prioritize the places that actually pay us more money. So we're going to do that. Actually, I think we'll probably want to get advanced drilling techniques here as well. Because, yeah, 75 years. And if we look at your mining situation right over here, you do have deep gas. Yeah, we can probably boost your natural gas production for a little bit. Again, it's a stopgap measure, but it might not be a terrible thing. Let's go ahead and do that. Middle East. So it'll give us more oil production, which honestly, while we want to move away from it pretty quickly, running out of oil, hitting peak oil and running short of oil can devastate the world economy super insanely fast. Super insanely fast. I'm a little low on cash. Let me cancel the education enrollment. We'll just acquire smart grids over here. Because this can be a big source of money. It's not right now. Well, 81. I mean, it's close to 100. But there's a lot of people here, and they can actually develop... Again, the Middle East, I find, can be a big money maker. Oh, you're very unstable, though. You know what? I will invest in a third card slot. We're going to do this. Shoot. I may have done that wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the filters here. Show me everything that's affordable. Oh, I'm sure you got lots of water stress. Yeah. Okay, water management program. Can I fit anything in here? Growing these various sectors is often really good, actually. Almost always good to run something. Now, so commerce is interesting because it doesn't use a lot of emissions, and it produces a lot of GDP. The issue with it is that it is a little bit vulnerable to the economic collapse. Agriculture is the most vulnerable to climate change and doesn't make you much GDP, but keeps the food going. Most resources, highest emissions, and least vulnerable to climate. What, least vulnerable? Even more than commerce? I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to run this one turn. Okay. Alright, predicted temperature is going down a bit. Forced migration, 1 million people were forced to move. Japan have developed their carbon capture and sequestering technology. So that, I think, is a technology where by itself is... You can develop it, but then I think you have to run it month to month to keep it going. Ooh, North America is getting kind of salty. Well, they are being Tobin taxed. I don't want them to get too low. I'm going to drop this. I'll drop the grow industry for now as well. Europe is still okay. We can keep Tobin taxing them for a bit longer. Oceania is surprisingly okay, although this is an area I definitely want... They can get pretty salty pretty quick. Yeah, flooding and things like that. I'll invest in a card and make sure they've got their flooding defense. Try to develop a little bit of that. Japan, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to invest in another card. Get you some storm defense, because I'm betting... Okay, it's not a problem now, but it will be. India is still unstable. Again, I want to move forward with India, and actually, they're getting pretty miserable. We'll invest in the second card. And... massive water stress. Residential crawling, nationalism on the rise. Unstable climate brings storms, so I'm going to also invest in storm protection. It's a lot of money here. But I don't like to ignore India. There's too many people here. Still security assistance. I would like to move forward in Northern Africa. Right now, we're sort of just, pedaling in place, but... Alright, Latin America, again, can be... Anti-GEO rallies turn into a bloodbath. Yeah, they're outraged. -3 stability. Wildfires, storms. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and give you those protections. But it would also help if you were just feeling better. So yeah, acquiring CCS, again, doesn't do anything by itself. You deploy CCS, it reduces emissions a bunch as you run it every turn, but increases energy usage. It's not... We're going to want it at some point everywhere because this leads to 4th gen nuclear if we're going to do nuclear. And even if we don't do nuclear, the concentrated photovoltaic cells are amazing for solar power. Alright, let's get back to you here. North America. Yeah, objections to that. You're packing a picnic for doing this. The sooner we start this, the better. Actually, your forestry is going up, which is kind of amazing. I'll hold off on the enhanced water infrastructure, because you're only single-digit water stress, and we've got the first level in, which is building up, so that's good. We may want to start an eco-awareness campaign at some point to move them from consumers to balanced. I think we will start doing that. Likely that'll happen in a few different places. Yeah, so we'll wait on CCS. Water stress is double digits. Forestry's going down. Yeah, you don't like the Tobin tax. Urban sprawl, strong tech. You've got that, which is going to help your economy. Okay, you will like this. plus, yeah, you're double-digit stress, so maybe we'll do that. Russia is currently unstable. We'll provide some security assistance. General strikes. Smart grids, yes. Just a CCS, which we're going to wait on. No real water stress. There is some forestry issues. Huh. Is there a way to find out, like, why are people so... Well, there's a lot of sickness and some unemployment. Okay, we'll provide them some medical welfare boosts. Hopefully make them less angry. Let me come back to you. Alright, China. There you go. Defense measures paid off, which is giving us a heart over there. Methogen vaccines for livestock. Okay, it does hurt the GDP a lot, but reduces emissions from agriculture, which is really nice. Reforestation, there you go. 2,500 extra forestry per turn. You got some storms, smog, wildfires. Let's make sure... Yeah, we've got the first level of wildfire over here. Still have double-digit water stress. Oh, but I guess we've got everything we can do. This would increase water stress. Let's wait on this. I'm hoping that our water production is actually going up. That's not the really button. I guess it's this for the chart. Okay, water stress is dropping. Yes, that's good. That's really good. Toxicity is at 76. Which seems, you know, pretty high. Industry, fuel use toxicity. Yeah, which is going to lead to a lot of sickness. Can we start moving you off of coal, which would be kind of what we're hoping for. Because you mine a lot of coal and you use a lot of coal. You got no oil. Gas situation's not wonderful either. Subsidized biochar. Not really. It's a little early to commit to renewals because we don't have the technology for it. Okay, what we can do is we can start running these regulations here. And here. You've got a high population. Reducing these emissions will have a big impact on everyone in the world. Middle East, okay, it's currently on even stability. County spirit, nationalism on the rise, water stress. Okay, we'll get the enhanced water infrastructure. We could just make them fairly happy with a couple of levels of this. Let's get them smart grids. GDP, they'll be richer. That'll make them feel really good. And yeah, we'll boost the education enrollment to boost the HDI. All right, we got 30 bucks left over. All the cards are filled. That seems mostly okay to me. Hopefully, North America won't go down anymore, but they might, because we're actually not doing anything that's going to increase their hearts. I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. Maybe we'll buy another card next turn. Okay, I mean, the temperature is rising, but the predicting is going down because of this. We are 1.5 degrees of warming, which is going to start triggering other things. Okay, global oil production peaks, so global oil production is falling, which... Okay, we have fourth generation nuclear breakthrough. All right, we didn't get any notes about massive oil shortages causing economic problems. That is good. I am going to go and expand oil production in the Middle East. As a stopgap measure to prevent the economy from suddenly collapsing in on itself. I think what we'll do is we'll put a cut in here, actually. Okay, North America. I want to keep these running. Eco campaign in full flow. +1 green outlook. Were they materialists before? No, I think they were still consumers, but I think there's like a range of points. Grasslands management, there we go. Fewer emissions, more GDP, World Forest Treaty, tech's booming, of course, peace reigns. Yeah, people are content. Okay, maybe I don't have to panic about North America. Maybe we can keep this running. I would like to get them balanced. Eventually, I'd like to get everyone to green, but early on, my goal is mostly to try to get people over to balanced outlook so they don't get pissed about, you know, green-type policies. Alright, you're stable, you're troubled, but this should help a fair bit. General strikes, healthcare program underway is good. You do have some tech coming in now. I'm not going to worry about spreading the 4th gen nuclear quite yet. So you're already balanced, so I'm not concerned with this. Baby boom, no. Anti-drought efforts, calm China. Yeah, you have a lot of hearts. Stem topsoil trouble. Reduced arable land degradation. Okay. More nationalism. Vegetarian revolution and things would have a lot of value. Okay, I'm going to move to coal-free industry first. I'm not going to ban coal, but we're going to move industry off of coal, which means they'll be more reliant on our power grids, which right now we're not... The power grid will mostly still be coal-driven. Do we commit to renewables? Unless I just acquire the CCS so we can get to the 4th gen nuclear and work on that, or just be ready for the photovoltaics whenever they get developed. Okay, I'm going to do that because it will be a high priority to get China onto renewables. Okay, let's do this for now. Japan, alright, not too pissy. Geodefense measures are working, good. Although we'll have to keep ahead of that. Water stress is double digits. You don't have any water management program. Okay, let's make sure that keeps going. Yeah, you're currently displeased. We may pay another card in Japan. Water stress, double digits. Tech boom welcomes defense. You do have some storm, though. Okay, water management. I'll buy another card. So, storms are still threatening over here in Oceania, so we're going to go ahead and get the next level of that. India's currently even. We're going to get them more water infrastructure, which is good. Questions value at a crawl. Poverty ravaged India turns on Quill 18. So they're sick. They've got poverty. Okay, let's run a medical welfare. We're going to grow agriculture because I think the food per capita 472 isn't starvation levels yet, but it's not great. We're going to make sure to grow agriculture. And they're pretty pissy about things. They're really upset. And I can't blame them. I'll get them some drought protection. Middle East, stable. Expanding your oil thing, which, again, is dangerous. Okay, you have no emergencies going on right now. I've got you the full water management. I'm sure your water stress is still pretty high right now, but it should be improving. Excellent. Yes, that's really good. Let's run an eco-awareness campaign. And higher education as well. Alright, even, angry. I mean, I can't blame them. They haven't gotten a lot of love from me. Storms. And the thing is, Northern Africa actually has a lot of resources. They're extracting a fair amount of oil. Actually, they're going to run low on that. They've got a fair amount of natural gas. And we haven't actually picked up any of the technology over here. Let's get them the advanced drilling. Water stress is pretty high here, right? 74%. Yeah, okay. Probably should have gotten the water management a little sooner, but, you know, how are we going to spend... We can't spend money on all the things. You have no stress. You get the medical welfare. You're currently unstable. Let me go and... security assistance you. Healthcare program underway. How's your sickness? 15%. Latin America is unstable. What's the news here? living standards, deforestation slows, which is really good. Cropland management, their tech's on the rise. Defense measures, anti-drought. I mean, the support's not bad. I'm going to keep running this because we need to keep the Amazon alive. Let's do the business and household regs. Okay, we got the filter for affordable. We're down to $12. Everything's been filled up. Okay, I'm going to put a cut in here. An hour into the first video, fairly long, okay. But it's not too shabby. And yeah, I'm going to boost the oil production a little bit in the Middle East. Because as far as I know, they still have tons of oil. Yeah, tons and tons of oil. So we're going to boost that a little bit. I mean, I know it's not great, but I don't want the economy to collapse. So I'm going to put a cut in here. Folks, thanks for watching this. Hopefully, you're as excited as I am for the next episode. I'm going to see you then. Bye-bye.